Okay, I am painting my skid steer. It sucks. Let's just cut to the chase. It's a lot of work. It's muggy out. My friend is nice enough to let me use his shop. It is a fairly new shop. He's in the middle of insulating it. But, you know, insulation and building supplies, as you know, are expensive. So this is as far as he got so far. So there is no AC in here. And it gets kind of hot. But the nice thing is, I'm sanding a lot of this down to the metal where the rust was really bad. Not everywhere, just where the rust was really bad. The scratches. I did buy this machine used, and it had a ton of scratches. It had low hours, but I got the scratch and dent price. So I feel happy about it, because I got the back looking good. I got all the scratches, all the dents, everything out of the back. I got some of the fins were badly mangled. That's about as good as I could get them. And I don't think they look that bad. Let's see here. There was a dent up here. I fixed a dent up here. This screen was flopping around. I welded this screen in a few places underneath, so that's good. I put new cab mounts in this machine. There's a big rubber and like a pin bolt that goes through. I put new rubbers in there and there. When I painted the cab, so I just painted the cab. It's covered in dust, but you know, I don't know if you can see in this way. You know, it is pretty shiny. So I got that done. I got this side looking good. Got all the dents out and scratches out of here. I did needle scale, wire wheel, grind. I mean, I was working on this undercarriage for a couple days, in between, you know, jobs and working. And then I sprayed it with Rust Off by Napa. It's like the POR 15, except for it's UV resistant. POR 15 is not UV resistant. I've used that before, and it fades. You have to paint over it. So what I'm working on now is cleaning up where the cab sits. The rubber sits here, and it always creates moisture under the rubber. So I'm cleaning up that. My buddy's dog is not happy, but that's okay. Yeah, and then I got the arms all sanded down and primed, ready to go. And I put new grab handles on there. And yeah, he's not happy. He's not happy at all. So I put new handles on this skid steer, grab handles. I've done a ton of work to it. I cut out the front cross member of the cab because that had some rot in it. I am working on sanding down the side of the machine and trying to get, like, those big rust chips, so I'm trying to blend it in. So that's why I'm not taking all of it down to metal, but where it was scratched, because I did buy this machine used, but where it was like deep gouges, I took it down to metal, and I'm gonna etch prime it. And whenever you take one spot down, you have to like blend around it so you don't have a noticeable dip in the paint. Takeuchi doesn't really do the best of jobs when it comes to their foam, and when it comes down, it sits right here. So I'm trying to clean up this so I can tape this off and paint it. So I painted the undercarriage of the machine. Took me like 2 days. Yeah, I want to say 2 days of needle scaling, wire wheeling, and grinding. I wanted to sandblast it, but sandblasting is kind of expensive. I did sandblast some spots with the little handheld sandblaster I had, but it's just, you know, a little tub of sand was like 69 bucks. So I went through 2 or 3 of them so far doing the cab. I took off the grates, cages, whatever you want to call them. You know, they're obviously dusty from me. I did paint the inside. I gotta flip that one over. I already flipped this one over. I'm gonna paint that. But yeah, so I sanded those down, painted those. The cab. Oh, and I fixed all the dents that were all down here. Dents, scratches, sandblasted a lot of the deep ones so we could get the rust out. The bottom was stuffed in. I bent that out. This back door here had some serious dents in it. The fins were mangled. They were like bent. I got them pretty straight, I think, for, you know, I mean, as good as I'm gonna get them. And I pretty much sandblasted this whole door down, the face of it. I didn't do the top or the sides, but I took this door off and did quite a bit of work to it. I actually took the torch and heated up this piece here, bent it back out. You know, I got this machine used and the guy, you know, hit everything but the lottery with it. And it had low hours, so, you know, it's when I got it, honestly, I forget, but it had low hours on it. So, I got the scratch and dent price. This right here, I had to weld that. This little cage screen was like flopping around. I had this whole door off. I had to realign it. I had to put a shim in the hinge here to bring this down more so this would catch, because this was out of alignment, so I wanted this line to line up better. So I did shim the hinge. I did jack up the cab, and I put new rubber cab mount, rubber bushings in there because the cab was moving around. I've had, this is the second one of these machines I've had, and this machine, to me, it rode really rough. It felt like it was like extra rough than the last one. So I discovered that the cab was, you know, banging up and down on the big bolt that goes through there because the rubber is worn out, which is weird. I've never seen one of the rubbers wear out like that. But I did sandblast in here, all in here. I actually took these plates here, unbolted those, and sandblasted all in here. It was all rusty in between the crack. Let me get out of the light. You can see all up in here. Yeah, all down here. I sandblasted. I mean, it made a mess. But this is why I like the Takeuchi. Look at it, you can see right through this machine. Everything's wide open. But before, this was like not hitting right. Now, boom, closed. I do a lot of work down here. I just built a berm through the woods for him and ripped the track while I was here. So I built through there. You can't see a big privacy berm. I had trucks hauling in here all day. Last week, there's a big berm of topsoil through there that's loaded with bamboo. There was a job my friend was doing, and they wanted to get rid of the bamboo. Nobody wanted to take it. My friend here wanted it, so I was doing that and ripped the track. So I have no idea what I ran over, but I ran over something in the woods and it ripped the track. However, I don't think that's why. I was like a little hump on the ground, but I think that was the track that I was suspected. It was on this side. So this side, the idler was out farther than that side, which leads me to believe that that track was stretched anyways, and the cables inside were probably broke. So the little bump was just enough to take it over. These are the sea lug pattern. Now, I've had every style of track there is. On my other machine, on this machine, I had the Camoplast zigzag straight bar. They were terrible. The last machine I had, I changed from the solid pad, where that is you know, filled in. This is solid. It was it wasn't a bad ride, but it left huge square divots in the ground when you were spreading topsoil, and it was hard to rake. I switched them to this, and it was great. And they just left little Twinkie, like that right there is like a little Twinkie mold. And then you just kick them around with a rake if you need to. You know, you can kick them around with your foot. Now, the last one that I had, the salesman that I talked to on the phone, very nice guy, but he was trying to sell me on getting another set of the Camoplast, which is the zigzag straight bar. Problem with that is Takeuchi's already a rough riding machine, rides like a dozer, so I don't want to have the straight bar, because every time you have a straight bar, comes around and just hits the ground like a dozer grouser. So with this little section of rubber here, there's always something making contact with the ground at all times when it comes around. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how it is. I've tried every set of tracks there is, and I'll be honest with you, these C-lug ones, you get the most pushing and the most cushion. So that's just my opinion. Feel free to do whatever you want. Okay, so it's dark out. I've been standing for like ever. I've had enough. So I'm going to use some self-etching primer and put one coat on the stuff that I sanded. Then I'm going home. Well, that's that. Good thing I have a whole case. So this isn't like professional grade paint. And I would have loved to have sandblasted it, but it's getting kind of expensive. I just did all the pins and bushings in this machine, and it was thousands of dollars, so I don't know. If this paint holds up for a while, we'll be in good shape. I don't see why it wouldn't, because this has worked for me in the past. This self-etching primer seems to, like, if you get it down pretty good, little itty-bitty rust spot like that won't come back through again. At least not for a few years. And then we'll have it sandblasted, which is extremely expensive. What I like to do is I use this first, then I have a primer filler, and I'll cover it with primer filler, and then you can sand it, and it's a It's a 2-in-1. Fills, you know, it's a filler that's sandable. So it'll fill all the little scratches and stuff from the sanding disc. And then, you know, when you go to paint it, then it's smooth, you know. Which I used on the arm. So if you notice that arm is like really smooth looking, that's because I hit it with the self-etch primer, and then after I used the primer filler. You know, there's a spot like right there. Now I can fill that. Instead of sanding it down to metal, I'll just fill that with the primer filler, because I can see it now. So that's another reason why the darker color primer is good. Okay, it's like 10 o'clock. I am tired. It's still hot and muggy out. So I'm going home. Is that a bug? See, So I am going home. This sucks. It's like 1,000,000,000 degrees in here. The fan broke. Okay. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I got a couple, I have one little run I can see. No sags in that top corner. I had a sag in this top corner, but it seemed to have worked its way off that round lip. And that looks pretty good. These look pretty good. I'm really happy with these. I'm just gonna stop. Yeah. Yeah, that's way better. There's one little run right there, but honestly, every time I try to fix something, I screw it up. So I'm gonna leave that little run because I think I can buff it out later maybe. You know? We're a little dry in here, but the cage covers that. So I don't really care about that. We only care about this part being nice and shiny because that's the exposed part. This is covered by the cage all through here, so that can be dry. I say we get out of here. I would love to open the door and let this out. The last time I painted this cab in here, I had the doors open for ventilation. And the bugs, like mosquitoes, were landing in the paint and messing it up. So my plan was to repaint the cab, keep the doors shut, and then just get the hell out of here. So let's get out of here. All right, I'll show you a little bit of the paint. All right, I can't, this is probably gonna be the last time I paint anything in the summer. Unless I build a garage with air conditioning or something someday when I hit the lotto, or who knows. I mean, came out pretty good. I got one little run right there out of the whole machine, which is fine because it's a machine. I mean, it's really shiny. I mean, that's all we care about, right? Shiny stuff. You can see me walking in it, see? Woo! It'll be all scratched up within like 2 weeks of using it, probably. But I got this dehumidifier. I'm hoping, and it has a hose, and when it fills up, it pumps the water out. I'm hoping this will help. Filter, I think it's filtering the air. I don't know what the 89 is, the temperature in here. Con. I don't know. Condition. The pump is on, so when it fills up, it'll pump the water out. I guess we just leave it. And it's got a tray down here that fills up with water, but if the pump's on, it'll pump it out, the hose. So, nobody's using the garage for the rest. I got up early to put the second coat on. And he's my buddy who owns this building. He's gone to work. So he doesn't have anything going on in here today, so I should be able to keep the doors shut with the dehumidifier running. Hopefully, this is 30 wide, 40 long, so hopefully that little thing, I mean, I put it near the machine. I don't know, wishful thinking, I guess. I'm just trying at this point to get the paint to dry, because this has been going on for a week now. And luckily, all the work I've been doing is excavator work. And I do have my friend James skidsteer, the little cat one, that he has let me use. The 259. So, yeah. If we really needed to, we could use it, but we don't have to. I don't have anything. It's all excavator work. So this thing, I did the pins, bushings. If you want to go look at the last video I did on removing the pins and bushings, I didn't film putting them back in because they just went in easy. But this one here was really bad, and I had to torch and heat all around that one, and then I had to do some serious cleanup. So that pin is new. That old pin wasn't bad. That one wasn't bad, it was just stuck. New pins down there, all 4 of them, and bushings. Some shims, so that's all tight. But I figured we'd get this thing painted our company colors. All right, that's it. She's done. Today is supposed to be 100 degrees out. I got the machine back from paint. I did put brand new tracks on it. Sorry I didn't film that. I didn't film a lot of this because it was like 1 billion degrees in that building. And the GoPro, when it gets hot, just shuts off. So it didn't come out bad for a machine. You know? I just put the exhaust back on this morning. I was kind of debating on whether or not this would look good with the back engine compartment gray to match the cab, but my son photoshopped it and we looked at it on his computer, and it looked terrible. So we're leaving it blue. I do have to finish peeling some more tape off. Those were terrible. I used 3 creepers, put them on the creeper, jacked the machine up, and I rolled it in. Then I used the engine crane and stuck that under it right here, lifted it up, put it over there. I actually did put the tracks on like by myself, and then my buddy came when I was doing the second one and gave me a hand. So the second one was a little easier. He likes it, but I'm pretty happy with it. I gotta weld you know where the hoses go? Right in there. The problem I have is the old tracks, when they sag over time. I've known about this since I bought the machine. You know, from the guy that had it before me. He was running them real loose, and they ground a hole in here. The problem with that is, same with the other side. Problem with that is then they stuff dirt into the belly pan, so I have to wash the belly out. And then I got to put the safety thing back in here. I'm going to repaint it. I got it sitting over there. It's red. Put that back in there. I got to put the cages back on. I ordered all new rubbers for the cab seal. That piece that I had cut out and put back in. I got all new door rubbers for the door, everything. So, but here's the paint. I think that's gonna do it for this one, guys. I have no idea what the next video will be. I don't do the same stuff all the time, so I'm kind of all over the place. I hope everybody likes it, because that's kind of what you're stuck with here. I don't know any better. So, catch you on the next one. We'll check back in when the puppy's not happy. Wait, did I say that right?
We'll check back in when the puppy's happy.